Aries, how you getting on? So holla, we are back in colour. How you doing? So we are back and we are biblical and we're not going down the same route now of what we've been doing, which was in the 7 days, the 7 sins. Someone's a sinner. Someone's a sinner. But we're not. What we're going to do is we're going to look into the last half of August now. So we're looking at from today, which is the 13th, until the 31st. So in order for me to catch up and then do the next month, I need to start with the last part of August. So how you doing, Aries? We've got a new project going that I will tell people about at the end. Okay, at the end of the beginning, there's always a beginning of an end. Have a cycle. Let's see, Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising and Venus, from now until the end of August. So we've had Lion's Gate, come out retrograde. Let's see. There you go. So an end, there you go, an end as a beginning. No more mind games. There is no more playing around. I am not fooling around or playing around. I don't live in the dark, I live in the light. Some people could live in the shadows. There could be a dark cloud that looms over someone of understanding that something is over. Something is over. Why do we always have to have a dark cloud among you? Why do I always have to have a dark cloud among me? Aries is what some people are saying. Why? Why? Just why? But some people are saying yes. Thank goodness that this is now more relaxed. Why did it end? Well, I stayed up night after night waiting for something to happen. And did it happen? Well, it fucking did. And now it is presently manifested itself into now the energy's more relaxed. But there still could be some kind of worry, some kind of anxiety. But what we realise is that if you want to continue with an ending, which is always judgment, it's always the day of reckoning. What do you reckon, Aries? Do you reckon that you want to continue on the same cycle with the same person if it relates to love? Or do you not? Judgment is upon you of this ending. You have free will now to continue on the same path of the same thought process, but has it been working? Has work ended? Is there now freed energy in order for you to move forward? Sure. It's a good card. If you want to fearlessly walk off into the shadow of darkness and the shadow of death, now I walk into the shadow of death, I now enter a new beginning. There's a dark side to somebody. Somebody has a dark side, is what I heard. Tales from the unexpected. Bow, bow, bow. Tales from the unexpected. Crusoe, right? Crucifix is what I heard. Why on earth did I hear that? Crucifix. Inspector Crusoe. There's a clue. Someone's leaving a clue. I think someone could be leaving a trail of breadcrumbs. And why am I picking up on which? I'm sorry, but I am. Like I'm seeing like a trail of breadcrumbs, and it's like someone's about to push someone into another. Sorry, into a cycle, but like pushed someone. Someone pushed someone too far. I think that's what it is, Aries. I think someone's pushed you too far. And you're like, I think you sunk them like a lead balloon, is what I'm picking up, Aries. You've sunk someone's battleship. The ego ended. You sank someone's battleship. You broke the chain. You broke it. See for the last half. So Libra, there you go, Libra. So did someone break up with a Libra, or are you just about to meet a Libra? There's two ways that this can go. This can have a lot to do with children and society and jobs and work and career. There's an equilibrium to now of freed energy, the freedom. Someone's now found their freedom through a divorce or through a settlement that's been settled in court where it's now freed energy up it might not have gone in someone's favour, but at least it feels like now there is a newfound freedom in something. It might even be to do with family and work and stuff, but now there is a found freedom through this energy that of this an awakening now that you can go your own way. You might be saying that to them, you can go your own way now. You are now free. You are now free. Someone's just got out of jail also, or someone's just got out of the clinic, is what I heard from the clinic. Whatever that is, I don't know, Aries, but someone's got out of the clinic and they're now fighting for their freedom. Someone's just got out of the jail and they're now fighting for their freedom now, as a new beginning, as a fresh start. So if that's related to someone else, they've left someone and now you can be with a Libra for a lot of people, or you've ended something with a Libra. Excuse me. Someone found it very difficult to speak at court as well, or that somebody got caught because they found it very hard to speak the truth, and someone found it very hard to speak the truth, and that's what caused this ending, that they couldn't speak the truth. But then again, someone did speak the truth and they stood up for it too. Could have been over like children or a marriage or a breakup of a marriage, and it all went to court and there was an ending. If not, it all went to the karmic law of what you was manifesting, of what you put out. You know, if you put out that you're ended something, then you know you've ended it. So you've got to live with that. You've got to live. Don't live in regret, Aries. Do not live in regret of an ending. You know, it's like an awakening, but awake is also what I'm picking up, like awake for somebody. So we're going down different avenues now. There was a awake is what I'm picking up, awake, and there was a meeting, and it's now where the energy was obviously very heartbreaking for somebody. That was causing a lot of like anxiety and kind of like, you know, just worry and stress and stuff, obviously. But it's now freed up energy where it can feel very like you can feel like lost in translation a little bit. Justice would always mean translation, but it would always mean like you can feel that energy around it where it's just like, well, now I just feel like empty inside. But there is a like sometimes when we can lose people, if you lost somebody, you know, I did that very much with my dad when I lost my dad, and also my brother. Well, also my brother, but my dad. When I lost my dad, I was just like walking around like aimlessly for a while in the dark. You know, I was wandering around aimlessly, but I just felt like this weight had been lifted, even though it's very upsetting. I just felt like there was an equilibrium to my energy. It was like walking through the shadow of darkness and through the shadow of death is what I'm picking up. So sorry if that's the way I'm coming across, but through the shadow of death, it's like when someone passes, because we're physically here, we feel like we're walking through the shadow of death because it's a dark hallway that we know that we have a fresh beginning, and it's freed energy up because we've learned to release and let go. And then when we learn to release and let go, we feel empty. But what is a cup when it's remained empty? It's refillable. You see, we refill and we replenish our soul by a new beginning. There you go. So now it takes contemplating mode now. So if we go down the route of this being your love partner, there's somebody that's really not interested in listening to somebody. They've just had enough. They just don't want to listen. They don't want to know. This can be someone within love that's just constantly searching for an answer, but they're just not willing to change themselves, and what they want is it all. They want it all, but they're not willing to change themselves. You know. They want everything through justice, meaning that I want the truth. I will accept nothing but the truth. I want the perfect partner. I want the perfect living space. I want the perfect living arrangement. I want you to look a certain way. I want you to be a certain way. And if you don't fit society's standards of my belief, then you're not good enough for me. That can be that energy for some. But the reason why this card is here is because truth always represents that it's never about anybody else, it's always about you. So it can be an energy where somebody wants everything and they want all the offers and they want everything, but they're willing to change something about themselves, you know, which can relate to someone of selfish need and gain, you know, because this energy can also be a sickness energy for some. So we can relate this to loads of different energies. Someone could literally be physically ill, or they could be physically sick. If you're relating to this to a partner that pulls on your heart and they're emotionally guarded and emotionally blocked off, then what you feel is sick. It's like, I just can't. Why is it that because I'm now spiritual and open as a vessel, okay, that I feel because it's soulmate energy, you know, because they're denying. This is someone that can be in pure denial. And if they're in pure denial, then it's denying your right of what it is that we learn through society. So this person can be contracted with somebody else, and the more you intervene, the more you feel sick. You know, it can be, but it can also be someone that is also like ill. It can be, because this energy would represent of like still a sickness feeling. It can be. But this can also be representative of love, that someone's still trying to find out an answer to something that's already ended. You know, it's already done. After all that's done and said, why do you still remain the same? You know. So, for a lot of you, I mean, you know, I hate to keep bringing it up, but the 9 talks about fearlessly going forward, fearlessly fighting through the pain and continuing on as a warrior. This is a warrior. Once was warrior, but once was lost. Once was lost in translation, and now one was found. The profound, the strength, passion, desire. But it can also mean someone suffering through such denial of something that this is also part of loss, because it's now a standalone. You know, but you can put this to so many different scenarios that I can't tend to everybody's need, but this can just be the separation of loss of where, like I said, it's now time. It's now you feel of a wandering energy of like a lost soul without you. You can feel like I'm lost without you. So you're replenishing one's strength, which is to go forward through leaving everything in the past, concentrating more on the future. But there's a part of some people that are going through strong family dynamics. There are people also that are going through very strong love relationships that are left people feeling abandoned and alone and ill and sick for some, because this can be someone's high blood pressure, also high blood pressure. Someone can have a temperament of high blood pressure through fighting, you see, fighting to stop someone from doing something so much that it's draining the other person. So this can relate to a dynamic of 10, approaches a 9. It still can be society and family intoriated things where you realise that you have people that rely on you as a reliance. So you're relying energy, but the people that you are relying on could be lying to oneself, you see, self. But that would still be parts of going through soulmate relationships, dynamics, situations at work, everything becoming on top of a dynamic itself, because it's soul groups of people that are come together right now over me, you know, come together. Let's come together. together right now. Ooh. Okay, so I see the last two cards. So they're the ones that I'm going to take. So, oh dear, why such bad cards, Aries? I hate giving over messages sometimes. I love my gift, trust me, but I like to give good messages to people. Someone's going to receive a bad message about a car also, is that someone can't do something in a car. They're going backwards and forwards also. That is very stressful for someone because they look after somebody here and then they transport. There's a transportation of energy, but also like literally transport. It's like a transmuting energy through what's happening with the Cancerian energy for a lot. Now, for some of you, it's anybody because you've got 2 sevens. Okay, so this is where you bump into things all the time. It's like you don't see where you're going in a car and you bump in. And some people, you've got to be very careful. Very careful driving. Because this person also cannot look where they're going, and they're run ragged. It's like run ragged between different energies. So be very careful you don't get a bump on the head, or that you don't fall over, or someone falls over. That's not a future prediction, but I don't know. So awareness, you see. This is self-awareness. This is what we learn through self-awareness. It's very good when you're self-aware, okay, self-aware. But you've got an energy that's not self-aware, you see, not self-aware. It can be self-aware, but because it's caught between a rock and a hard place of transport or a cancer, and then like emotional well-being of blood pressure, when you get into a complete dynamic of this dynamic that seems to be presenting itself here, you've got someone that's going between. It is a go-between. It's like, so they're using one's energy of a go-between. Left, right, and centre. Centre is 7. Centre yourself. Take time. Time is linear. Time doesn't work. You don't work for time. Let time work for you. Take time for yourself. You know, that's why it's there. You can learn a lot about life path numbers if someone's a life path number, but because you've got 2 sevens, okay? Time and money and effort is everything. It's all still one energy. Time, you don't work for time. Time works for you. Law of attraction comes to you, okay? You work for time, okay? You're here physically, but time works for you. When you make time to relax, okay? When you give yourself time to relax and center oneself, you become centered, you think clearly. If you don't think clearly and you're erratic because of thinking that, well, if everything around everybody is out of control, it's a lesson of self-control. Self-control. You know, you got 2 sevens, self-control. So the car can go out of control. That's what I'm saying. The chariot can go out of control. The car can go out of control. Someone can be out of control. It's trying to steer. The chariot is really trying to work its way forward. But some of you are leaving a Cancerian energy behind, and what you're doing is going to concentrate more on of strength, of building one's strength. But if you're caught between a rock and a hard place, this chariot can go out of control. You've got 8. You know, it talks about, obviously, a self-imposed prison of home, of an entrapment feeling of where it's circular. It's, you know, it's what you're manifesting through thought and feeling of other people. You're manifesting it in through fear of what you are presently here. Presently here. The present tense is what you have. So if what you have is other people that are out of control, then it works off what you're thinking about yourself. Unfortunately, that's the written law of karma. Only cares about one person individually, which is your wheel of fortune, of destiny. You know, Saturn doesn't care about anybody else. It does. It cares about them, but they have their own planet of destiny. They have their own wheel of fortune to. That's just unfortunate, you know. That's the unwritten law of life. There's law involved also for some people. This is like law of where someone's going to get caught. Caught red-handed. Someone is going to get caught red-handed, is what I'm hearing and picking up. Caught red-handed, because what they stole was a car. Literally stole a car, and they might be putting in the claim of an accident, is what I'm also picking up. A claim, a blame and a claim. There's a claim for every blame, and there's a blame for every claim. That you claimed from me, I claimed from you. There's a get back. Someone's also trying to come back and get back also, but there's also someone that stole a car and they literally put a claim in for an accident that they had. A claim. There's a claim, but someone's like, we go this way, and someone's refusing to pay up emotionally for some, or they're refusing to pay up. It's like a weird energy. It's kind of like facing this way, but it's facing an ending, but the ending already happened to face the same. Someone's doing like a face off. It's a bit like John Travolta and what's his name? Face Off. God, I hope that's not like really happened. Sorry. Someone could have really got hurt in a car. Be careful. I don't want to put the shits up people, but be careful. Because I heard Face Off. Well, I don't even know if I want to put that out, Aries, but I've got to. Sorry, I have got to. Just be very careful. Be very careful. But this won't relate to everybody, only if it really is. Because there's so many situations in life that this could be about. There really is. You would only really know that if you told me your story and you wanted a personal reading, okay? Personal readings will give you an in-depth vision of what things are really about, to let me tell you what they're really about. That's why you seek out guidance for someone that navigates themselves through what they can tell you about a situation that helps, you know. There's a self-help program as well, like a self-help program of someone that's in denial through drinking. Self-help. But some of this can relate to narcissism too. I'll just throw that one out there. It can be. Because this can be like gaslighting and stuff like that. You know, it can be. So what we're going to do is, Aries, I do apologise for this strange reading, but this is YouTube. This is just a story. How the story untold unravels itself for the rest of August will be me clarifying these cards, and we continue on to see what this story really is about. Okay, we draw some more cards here and then we'll clarify everything. But we'll see what this is about. But there's a new project over on Patreon. Now you can watch all of these on Patreon with Tier 1, but there's now Tier 2 also. Tier 2 has hours and hours of different kinds of videos of tutorials through metaphysical law, connections, soulmate, twin flames, time, linear time, manifesting, how we start to work with a mirror, how we start to work with triggers, codependency, triggering people's responses and the trigger that causes things to happen like this, and what a trigger really means, manifesting and doing all kinds of things like that, channeling spirit messages through a plate, twin flames, soulmates, old videos and new videos that will be added further on, but they've all been put of old visions that are still visions that are very good. It tells you about awakenings and my stories of what it's like. Then loads of different stuff, me actually on the camera too, so people can actually see me if you want to. I don't know what you want to, but I'm actually on the camera too through some of those. But they've all been put into Tier 2. Now with Tier 2, you also get Tier 1, which is every reading that you would normally get, bi-weeklies, weeklies, monthlies, all that sort of stuff. It's all there, But for tier 2, you get access to all those videos and all the new stuff coming up. That I've got some really good stuff that's going to come up for people of how we start to live in a good energy, high vibration, good energy, draw it around, work with ourselves, work with the energy and bring ourselves out of stuff like this, okay? Good energy and good vibes. All of that stuff is in tier 2. But like I said, you will get tier 1 and tier 2. If you want to join tier 2, you'll get both, okay? If you want a personal reading, there is a link in the description for you to reach out and channel as much messages as I can to give you a personal reading. But if you just want to watch this and you don't want to join Patreon, you still have the option still for a while to look at the rest of the reading over on Vimeo, but it'll be in the one of the folders. It'll probably be in the bi-weekly folder. If it's not, it'll be in the monthly folder, but I would say it'll be in the bi-weekly folder. But Patreon is there for a good option to have access to everything that you want, okay? But the other videos there, some of them are me losing my shit when I was actually going through a lot of ego and a battle of actually battling myself through a lot of this stuff, of what we learn through Ascension, of now the energy changes as our soul progresses forward, that we learn more about, well, we learn about ourselves, and we learn about our life paths, our healing numbers. All of that kind of stuff of disintegrating the matrix and working oneself is all over there with all of those videos, and there's a lot of them to go on with, but there will be more added. But the videos that I do will just be put over on Patreon, and I might give a sign that I've kind of done another one, but it will only be put over on Patreon in tier 2. So you have options, Aries. If you want to watch those, all the links are below, and let's see what happens with the rest of your month. I'll see what spread I'm going to do. But we'll probably do some more and then clarify them. But a lot of people, they don't realise what it is. They leave it up to people, but they can leave a dislike and they don't know what the story really is. This is the YouTube story. What this is really about and what the rest of the card's about, and how you can change the energy and use this reading as advice to change it and see what's going to come up, and advice to change it is the rest of it. You know, that's the clarifying card. It gives me a great perspective of what this really is about. Okay, you might know what that's about, but the future is yet untold. Okay, so we'll see, but that will be over on the other side, Aries. But this is presently of what's kind of manifesting itself. So we'll see. So all those will be on the other side, and I'll hopefully see you there. See you later, Aries. Bye.